I thought the feathers that had fallen throughout my life had been from the infrequently passing crow. Oh, that I was wrong. They were and always had been from a line. My cousin used to tease me for getting strawberry ice cream because it was pink. I remember one day we went out with the $10 my uncle gave us, and we went and got ice cream, having it at the park. A wayward black feather undulated down the cloudy white. It was being hammocked down slowly, swaying side to side and coming lower with every swing of its body until the rhythm of its descent caused its squeal to go into my scoop of strawberry ice cream. It had been impaled perfectly. Ever since that day, whenever I heard a crow make its labored and croaking call, a sound not too uncommon in Massachusetts, I would look up. First, I'd scan the pollution-smeared sky, then check the tree lines. Yes, I would see something black inside the branches, but it never truly felt as though I had identified the creature that dispatched one of its feathers into my strawberry ice cream. I would get the most clearest image of a crow on somebody's rooftop while waiting for the school bus, only to feel unimpressed and unfamiliar with their pearly black eye. They never seemed to recognize me either. It made me wish I had kept the feather. Throughout the 2010s, my time in the Massachusetts public school system, these occurrences were as enigmatic as Arabic punctuation, as though I was seeing them too late. As time went on, it was as though the crows were teasing me with their calls. And yes, I did come upon the occasional lost feather. But here was the problem with the feathers. They were too big. In my 20s, when the one piece that didn't fit into the puzzle of maturity was the piece that was the black feathers, I started researching. I went to a museum of natural history and came face to face with a taxidermied crow and noticed how small its feathers were. The feathers I had been finding had been grand enough for someone to poke in their hat in the olden days. How I paused inside the Museum of Natural History. It felt like I was too old to have any kind of revelation of this kind. The feathers I had been seeing all my life were not from crows. I had to force myself to walk over to the taxidermied raven, only to see that its feathers didn't match as well. So, I went crazy researching birds native to Massachusetts, birds who migrated through Massachusetts, and tried my best to find those strange incidents of exotic species showing up where they're not supposed to be, but nothing ever seemed to match. Still, I researched, and my fascination increased. No, my fascination turned into admiration, something almost akin to being impressed. I was impressed by the architecture of a condor's wingspan. The diagrams of birds and their wingspans bewitched me. The larger the wingspan, the more something in me was wooed. The more something within me became impressed. I was most impressed by the largest wingspans, those of the albatross and the condor and the eagle, and how they surpassed a human in the pose of the Vitruvian man. There was something spectacular and awe-inspiring in the distance between the tips of their wings' last feathers, and how those very last wings imitated the precipice of cliffs. It was as though a scenic mountainous valley fit within their wingspans. Oh, but then I remembered how large these feathers were, which followed me throughout my childhood and adolescence. And when I stopped to think about it, I would have sworn They grew as I had grown and developed. A black hole and its accretion disk could have fit within the wingspan of whatever had been behind and above me all my life. She didn't come until I was 24. It was a foggy day in March when I was walking down Nahant Beach in Lynn, Massachusetts. It seemed as though the clouds had forgotten their place and came down to crawl upon the earth in confusion. I was walking in the direction of the actual town of Nahant itself, though its expensive houses were hidden by the fog, and I think this is why she finally came down. She had to wait for the foggiest and cloudiest day, for she was not the spectacle of other men, but for me. I would have been blown away had it not been for all the feathers that she left in my life. In fact, part of me was almost expecting it when I looked up after noticing a strange shadow on the muddy sand. Her wings were so massive that they acted as a parachute of sorts, gently breaking down through the clouds and fog. One of her knees was up, and the other leg was fully extended with pointed toes. I had researched so many different wingspans, but hers shattered them all. They were tall black wings, black as night, with pointed arches in the middle of each, and her total wingspan seemed to be around 20 or so feet. I felt and even saw all the air exhaust herself when she finally touched down, and her wings stretched out as though tired after a long flight. She was beautiful. Black hair, tan skin from flying closer to the sun, a cute face that bordered on something graceful. She was the true humble champion of flight, not mankind. The skin around her eyes was smoky. Her lips were almost purple. She was smiling. I had no idea how she could walk and stand upright with those massive wings attached to her, but she did, and she walked towards me with her victorious smile. And although I had never seen her, it was as if I recognized her. Her smile was a familiar thing. She put her hands on my shoulders. I was too stunned to take her waist. Gradually, before I could admire their height and size, her wings began to enclose us. And only because I had been seeing her feathers all my life, I tilted my head reciprocally, as she had done. Her wings completely engulfed and formed a shell around us. We kissed within her wings. It was as if the entire world had closed its eyes. It was like we were in the inside of an eclipse.